Hello everyone! Welcome! Tonight we explore a complex issue. It shapes our world, it affects us all. We are talking about prejudice. Prejudice, a powerful force. It divides us, it fuels hatred, it ignites violence. To combat it, we must understand it. Think of the universe, vast and mysterious. Prejudice is like a black hole. It warps our perceptions. Tonight we journey into the heart of this darkness. We will illuminate the hidden corners of the human psyche. Let's begin.
First, let's define our terms. Words matter. They shape our understanding. Prejudice, a preconceived judgment, an opinion formed without reason or experience. It can be positive or negative. Stereotype, a generalization, assigning traits to a group, often inaccurate and harmful. Discrimination, actions based on prejudice, treating people unfairly because of their group membership. These three concepts are intertwined. Prejudice is the seed, stereotypes are the roots, discrimination is the bitter fruit.
We are social creatures. We crave belonging. We form groups. This is natural, but it can also be dangerous. Social identity theory explains this. We identify with groups. We compare our group to others. We want our group to be superior. This creates an us versus them mentality. We favor our in-group. We are suspicious of out-groups. This can lead to prejudice and discrimination. Think about it. Sports rivalries, political parties, even something as simple as favorite music genres. We divide ourselves.
Imagine limited resources, not enough food, not enough jobs, not enough housing. What happens? Competition. Realistic conflict theory tells us competition over scarce resources creates tension. This tension can escalate into prejudice and discrimination. History is full of examples. Conflicts over land, wars over oil, discrimination against immigrants for taking jobs. The solution? Cooperation. Finding common ground. Sharing resources fairly. Easier said than done, right?
Here's the catch. Prejudice isn't always conscious. We can be biased without even knowing it. This is called implicit bias. Implicit bias operates beneath our awareness. It's shaped by our experiences, our culture, our upbringing. It influences our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors. Think about split-second decisions. Who we choose to sit next to on the bus, who we perceive as threatening. These choices are often driven by implicit bias.
Let's look at a famous study, the Robbers Cave experiment. Two groups of boys, same age, same background, taken to a summer camp. At first, they didn't know the other group existed. They bonded within their groups. Then, they were introduced. Competition was introduced. The result? Conflict, prejudice, discrimination. But there's hope. In the final stage, researchers introduced cooperative tasks. The boys had to work together to achieve a common goal. Guess what? Prejudice decreased. Friendships formed across group lines. The Robbers Cave experiment teaches us a valuable lesson. Contact matters, positive contact, but it's not enough. We need to dismantle the systems that perpetuate prejudice. Institutional change is crucial. Laws that promote equality, policies that ensure fairness. Education is key. We need to teach about prejudice, about the history of discrimination, about the importance of diversity. Education as a weapon. Imagine a world where everyone understands prejudice, where we recognize our own biases, where we challenge discrimination when we see it. Education is the key to unlocking this future. We need to teach critical thinking skills. We need to promote empathy and understanding. We need to celebrate diversity. This is not just the responsibility of schools. It's on all of us. Parents, educators, community leaders, policymakers. We must work together. Personal responsibility. It's part of being human, but we don't have to be controlled by them. The first step is awareness. Recognize your own biases. Challenge your assumptions. Be open to learning from others. It's not easy. It takes effort. It takes courage. But it's essential. Each of us has the power to make a difference. We've come a long way in the fight against prejudice, but we still have a long way to go. The journey requires constant vigilance. We must continue to challenge discrimination. We must promote equality and justice. We must build a world where everyone feels safe and respected. This is not a utopian dream, it's a necessity, a matter of survival. Our collective future depends on it. As we conclude our exploration, I leave you with this. Be the change, be the hope, be the voice for those who are silenced, challenge prejudice, promote understanding, embrace diversity. As we navigate the complexities of bias, let's take a deep dive into one of the most pervasive forms, confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is the tendency to search for, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms our preconceptions. Consider this real-world example. In a classic study, participants were given information about a person named Hannah. One group was told she came from a wealthy family, while the other group was told she came from a poor family. Both groups watched the same video of Hannah taking a test. Those who believed she was wealthy rated her performance as above average, while those who thought she was poor rated her performance as below average. This illustrates how our pre-existing beliefs can distort our perception of reality. In another example, think about the world of politics. People often seek out news sources that align with their existing beliefs, reinforcing their views and creating echo chambers. This can lead to a polarized society where individuals become more entrenched in their viewpoints, making constructive dialogue and compromise difficult. From a psychological perspective, confirmation bias stems from our brain's need for cognitive consistency. It's easier and less mentally taxing to process information that aligns with what we already believe. This is why challenging our own biases requires conscious effort and self-awareness. To counteract confirmation bias, we can practice critical thinking and actively seek out diverse perspectives. Engaging in discussions with people who hold different views, questioning our assumptions, and being open to new information are crucial steps. By understanding and addressing confirmation bias, we can foster a more informed and open-minded society. This not only benefits us as individuals, but also strengthens our communities and institutions. Thank you for joining us on this journey to uncover the layers of psychological bias. Together, we can work towards a more equitable and understanding world. As we continue our exploration of psychological bias, let's bring it closer to home with some everyday examples that many of us can relate to. Understanding how bias manifests in our daily lives can help us recognize and counteract it more effectively. Imagine you're in a classroom setting. The teacher asks a question and two students raise their hands. One student is known for always getting the right answers, while the other is often unsure. Without realizing it, the teacher might call on the smart student, expecting the correct answer. This is an example of a bias called the halo effect, where one positive attribute influences overall perception. Next, think about social media. Have you ever noticed how your feed seems to show you posts and articles that align with your interests and beliefs? This is partly due to algorithms, but it also reflects a bias known as the availability heuristic. We tend to believe what we see most often, and social media can create an echo chamber that reinforces our existing views. At work, consider a scenario where you're part of a hiring committee. You might unconsciously favor candidates who share similar backgrounds or interests as you, a bias known as in-group favoritism. This can limit diversity and innovation in the workplace, as it prevents different perspectives from being included. Even in our friendships, biases can play a role. Think about a time when a friend shared a rumor about someone you didn't like. Were you more inclined to believe it? This could be an example of confirmation bias, where we accept information that confirms our pre-existing opinions and dismiss information that contradicts them. In sports, imagine you're a fan of a particular team. You might believe that referees are biased against your team, even when the calls are fair. This is known as self-serving bias, where we attribute positive outcomes to our own actions and negative outcomes to external factors. Recognizing these biases in everyday scenarios is the first step toward mitigating their impact. By being aware of how our minds can distort reality, we can make more informed and fair decisions. Whether in school, at work, or in our personal lives, understanding psychological bias empowers us to create more inclusive and equitable environments. Thank you for continuing this journey with us. Let's keep striving for a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.